The Borderlands movie is official, so let's talk about it. As a lifelong Borderlands fan, I'm honestly hyped for this movie. However, there are a few things that I'm skeptical of, so let's go over that. Now, the very first thing that I am extremely curious about and kind of worried about is, why is Krieg in the very center of this advertisement? I really hope that they don't try to revolve this whole movie around Krieg or anything like that, especially because I feel like he works perfectly as a side character. I feel like he's a man of little words, but when he talks, it's amazing. I'm also curious to see how this team mixes together. So let's go over the characters and also let's go over the casting. The biggest positive for me is Jack Black. I think Claptrap is one of the most important pieces of this whole series. Borderlands is known as a funny series, and a huge portion of that is purely just because of this character. This character is awesome, and I respect that they're taking it seriously because we all know that Jack Black is going to do it right. I am a little bit worried about Kevin Hart casted as Roland. I'm actually someone that really enjoys Kevin Hart, and I always have. However, I'm not sure if this casting is right. But I do think it could work out. What I think we need from Kevin Hart is not high-pitched Jumanji Kevin Hart.
I want to go home. I don't want to...
We need the new school, very serious Kevin Hart. And if Kevin Hart can play a somewhat serious Roland and maybe sprinkle in some humor, I think this character could shine. The next character is Lilith as Cate Blanchett, which I think is an awesome casting, but once again, we'll definitely have to see how this goes. I think Lilith is a super important character, so they're going to have to do a really good job at kind of mimicking her vibe. Jamie Lee Curtis also is an awesome casting as Dr. Tannis, and I'm not sure about the actors playing Krieg and Atlas, but I'm sure that casting is a good fit as well. It's more about how they depict these characters. Now, one character that I am willing to make a bet on that they're going to give a lot of screen time to and a lot of humor opportunities to is Tiny Tina. I think this character is almost like Claptrap, how it is such a huge piece of this universe, and a lot of this movie is really going to be on how they depict those important characters. Now, speaking of characters, it appears that Atlas is going to be the main villain of this movie, which for me is a bit disappointing. I am a firm believer that Handsome Jack is one of the best villains ever depicted in any video game series ever. I know that this movie is going to try to hint at it. I'm already willing to make a bet that Atlas is going to be the villain of this movie, but it's going to end with some sort of post-credit scene that's hinting at Handsome Jack. Truthfully, I just hope they don't do too much with this movie. I truly want it to just stay somewhat true to the games and be a love letter to the fans, because this game has so much amazing content to already work around that you could almost mimic what it already did in live action, and it would definitely be successful. I'm hoping that we get an enticing movie that is full of jokes, good humor, lots of good plot twists, and as we all would like to see too, lots of good violence as well. I do think even the newer Borderlands games kind of lost that vibe of what I just described, especially Borderlands 3, which I thought the story was almost unbearable. So I'm really hoping that with this movie, we can almost go back to our roots and get something more similar to Borderlands 2. And even Borderlands 1, I'd be fine with. And last but not least, I really hope that this movie has lots of cool Easter eggs sprinkled in, because that was definitely one of the coolest things about the Borderlands games, is it arguably had the best Easter eggs and references in gaming. What do you guys think of this movie? Are you guys excited? Are you a little bit skeptical? I feel like I'm kind of somewhere in between, especially with the quality of movies we've been getting as of late. I'm trying my best not to get my hopes up too much.